So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in. So in today's video, we're going to cover kind of a topic or questions that get asked, and that is how can you juggle, a side job or a side hustle on top of having a full-time job. So from someone who's done this for different types of side hustles while maintaining a crazy job myself, I'm going to give you how I did it. Again, this may not work for you. Everyone's situation is different. Some people have kids, somebody have parents they have to look after. Some people have more demanding jobs, less demanding jobs. Everybody's situation is different, but I'm just going to share my experience and how I was able to do it. Again, apply it to your life. If it works, if it doesn't, then don't, or take whatever does work and use it. And so again, my name is Robert. If you gain any value from this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll go ahead and get into it. So where I was working was in like the oil field area. I've worked many jobs, but like the most recent one was in the oil fields, different type of oil field setting, I guess you can say. And when you work in that industry, you're working 12-hour days, and for me it was probably a 14-hour day at least, because it was about an hour travel each way just to get to my job site. So most of my time I was really tired of my days off, but I had some goals that I really wanted to reach, so I knew I had to kind of sacrifice in a sense to be able to make that stuff happen. So for me, luckily we would get a week off throughout the month because we work so many hours. You put in maybe 80 hours, 72 hours in a week, so you get a couple more days off. You were typically supposed to get a week off, but we never would. We'd always get called in, so maybe like 3 days off in a row. But anyway, the days I did have off, I would typically even sleep in some of the rental properties. So my side hustle was buying rental properties and fixing them up and renting them out. That was like my bigger side hustle while maintaining a full-time job. So it was really hard, really difficult. I was just starting out, getting all this stuff done, learning the ropes of all this stuff. So didn't really have like a crew or handyman crew to help me do this. It was kind of just me doing this as I could. And again, on my days off, I would stay at these houses wherever I bought the houses at and sleep on the floor, pick up some tacos in the morning. Sometimes I would even stay at these houses if they were close enough to work, and I would just stay there and commute back and forth wherever I purchased that property. And so say I was going to be going in, say I was getting out of a night shift or a day shift, whatever, I would go there, sleep for a couple hours, 2-3 hours, and then wake up, do a couple hours of work, and then go straight to work. So my time was consistently just work. Some people that doesn't work for them, some people have kids and they can't do that. But that's how I was able to make it work for me at that specific time. Now, when I was in another different type of job before this, I used to kind of like drop ship stuff. I would also purchase things and flip them. So those are different types of side hustles. Now that, it wasn't as demanding. The only part that was demanding for those was just finding deals, locating deals online. And then as I had time, I could kind of fix them up and sell them or list them online. Now the internet alone has opened up a huge market for people to be able to have side hustles without the internet. We really can't do a whole lot of stuff. Can't even make these videos without the internet. So yeah, so the internet helps to kind of spur up this side hustle economy, I guess. But the biggest thing with side hustles is just gonna be maintaining your time and just trying not to get overworked or burnt out. That's the hardest thing, because it's called a side hustle for a reason, right? It's something you're doing on top of your full-time job. So the hardest thing is just gonna be not getting burnt out. The reason side hustle is kind of popular also is because things are more expensive. People cannot afford, typically, right? The average person cannot afford a decent lifestyle without producing some more income. So that's the reason side hustles are also very popular. It's not because they necessarily want to do these, it's kind of more of a have to do these, right? So in my case, it was more of, I had some really big goals, and I knew working my 9 to 5, I call them 9 to 5, but they weren't 9 to 5s. Working my job was not gonna get me there, so I had to do something else outside of my job to get me to where I want to be. So, my situation was a little bit different, just like everybody else's situation. Your situation may be the same. Maybe your job does provide you a decent life, but it doesn't provide you the life that you want. So yeah, the hardest thing is just not getting burnt out. And again, just pace yourself. You'll know when you start to get burnt out because it doesn't feel like fun anymore. Like even whenever I was working on these houses, they still felt like fun, and I still had a lot of drive to do these things. I was excited that I was just constantly working, and like I said, I'd get home from work or go to these houses, stay there, sleep at work, sleep on the floor, wake up and get to work. That was still fun for me. It wasn't until a couple years later, you know, once I've already kind of established a little bit more of the business stuff, that it starts to become like less fun. And that's when you kind of know that you're like starting to get burnt out, when it's not enjoyable for you anymore. So it doesn't take long, I guess. And again, depending on how much you push yourself as well, then you'll kind of notice that you're getting burnt out. But the biggest thing is just being able to pivot as well. There's ways to scale in doing side hustles as well. I used to do a lot of little things, and then as I started making a little bit more money, and then I started doing bigger things, and then a little bit bigger things, and then until finally my side hustle became like real estate. You know, that's the best way to do it, because it's really hard. By the way, it's really, really windy here. And the reason I guess I'll kind of talk about, the reason I kind of chose real estate as a side hustle is because it offers the biggest amount of dollars, right? It's a big product. It takes a little bit more time, but it's a bigger product with a bigger margin. And it's really scalable. That's the reason I had picked real estate. How is it scalable? Is because I can obviously hire people out to help me. I don't necessarily have to be in the business. When you're starting off, you typically have to be involved in most businesses or most side hustles. But as you start to develop systems, you can kind of remove yourself and kind of let the business run its course, run itself, without you being, you know, the sole center of everything, right? So that's the reason I went with that. But again, I couldn't just start these side hustles at 18 years old with no money. I had to develop some money somewhere, somehow. Most of it came from a job, which is gonna be the average person's way to getting into these more lucrative side hustles, is with a job, an employer hiring you to do a job and basically exchanging your time for money. So yeah, don't buy into all the craze that you have to just do side hustles. A lot of people get caught up in, you know, the side hustle culture. Yeah, that's cool, it looks fun on the internet, but there's a lot of work that goes into it as well. It's not what it's painted out to be on the internet, yeah, or even in movies, but it takes work. And yeah, just wanted to kind of give how I guess avoided burnout and how I was able to do my time management. It took a lot of sacrifice. Yeah, I mean, it's sacrifice. It feels easy, everybody would be doing it. So yeah, you just gotta grind through it, honestly. Just gotta grind through it. But without further ado, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless, guys. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.